Life in first person.
You know, am I too early? No. It's a real pleasure to be here at CitizenCon in person. I've had so much fun. Thank you all. But my name is Jens. I'm here from Manchester.
Life in the first person perspective of the game.
So we're going to start in 0G.
I did it on purpose, Fireball. I did it on purpose. Don't panic. And I don't know what was that was a reference to yesterday, so what they showed yesterday.
You see is that we've made the exit from gravity less disorientating.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's needed so much because when you first pop it, hopefully they do the landing better. Please, and not. Oh, thank God.
All right, so we made
I got so tired of face planting.
So this
that was horrible.
has a new prone lateral pose, and this is really important to us because it allows us to get close to surfaces, and it allows us to walk across them. So we can see that in this video here. Okay, and as it gets to the end, we're going to jump off. Okay, here we go. Into that, and this smaller profile lets us get into spaces we couldn't get into before, or not easily with the old EVA. We're going to traverse through here, thread the needle, and also the collision is much more forgiving. We're going to slide off at slower speeds, so we're not going to be spinning away. Okay, big reveal. Love this station. This is amazing.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
And we're also adding grips, so in interiors, you might be able to hold on to grips to do interactions and walk between the grips to get better control.
Okay.
Now,
okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. I see what they're doing.
So now prone has long been a problem motion set for us, right?
That is.
But taking these EVA posing solutions we saw, we can now rotate around the camera without any lateral translation. So we're not rotating around the hips anymore. And it allows you to aim much better.
So the body moves as you move?
Body, so we don't need to worry about the external.
Oh, thank God.
Right, we're not going to get pushed around.
That's fantastic. You need that scope of mobility.
Of course, prone isn't all about looking around. We want to traverse as well. So we're going to head down this vent. And here we put in a new collision style. So this is all about letting you have control in narrow, small spaces, smaller than this.
Nice.
We're going to be able to push around the corners. We're going to go around tight bends. And we're going to be able to reliably go up and down slopes. And this is where prone led the way. So we then took this and we put it into the EVA. So if I turn off gravity here, which I'm not going to do, but if I did, the EVA would have been able to traverse the exact same place. And by having these motion sets so similar, we can exchange success between them. And this could then be done to other horizontal sets, like prone light sets, for example, like the water wheel showed it yesterday.
Yeah, the water effects were fantastic.
There one day,
So we're gonna have swimming.
Okay, we're gonna move from the horizontal to the vertical.
You're getting my attention.
Some new subtle and significant improvements. So we got midpoint markups. That lets you enter the ladder at anywhere.
Nice. Finally.
We're gonna let you look around so you can do 360s.
Okay.
We're gonna let you lean on the ladders so that you can avoid obstacles or peek around corners. And this all got a full new animation set. It looks amazing, especially with all this beautiful star cloth.
I want to see this, but I'm really gonna pee. I'll be right back.
There. It looks amazing. Okay, so with combat, we wanted to add more speed to the encounters. So what we've done is we've removed the weapon penalty, so you can move at the same speed with and without the weapon out. We've reduced the inertia, so you're going to be able to push up to your desired speed faster. And this is already in 320 and 321, and we got more things like this to come. Right, so I didn't just want to talk about improvements. I've hinted at swimming, but I'm going to show you a different feature, right? So, sliding. So, with the power slide, you inject a burst of speed. This doesn't just take you from A to B faster. You're going to have a reduced profile. You become a smaller target. It doesn't come for free. You know, you're sprinting. That's going to cost you stamina. You're sliding. That's going to add some stamina cost. And when I do it back to back like this, my heart rate is just pumping, 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 right? So you got to be a bit careful. You can't just slide it your whole way from the hubs to the spaceport. Okay, so another thing that is really important to us is that with the slide, it's a short duration, but we want interactivity as soon as possible. And that's true for all our motion sets. We're going to go through all of them and give you interactivity. So with the slide, we want you to be able to aim around as soon as possible. The moment you hit the ground, you're going to be able to aim around, all right? And the direction is locked, so if I was to slide from one end of the stage
Okay, power sliding was
I would be
necessary.
sliding this way, but I'd be
Now I'm
looking
getting
this
an idea
way,
of
right?
Assassin's Creed in space. I mean, they needed that mobility for
while I'm
first-person
sliding, I can
shooting
hit Y,
aspects of the game,
and as I
for
come out
both
in
the
X, I can
persistent
aim
universe
yes, I can
and
lean, I can
Squadron
go back to
42.
sprint right away, so I could do back-to-back slides.
So it
like we saw in the last
enhances the
Okay,
mobility
so
and,
moving on,
you know,
to
traversal
our
through
scope, just to finish this section,
first-person
I want to
areas.
talk about new hazard. Now you saw this yesterday in the UI demo.
Oh, wow. Fine.
Phone? Can you press
Yes,
the
it does. It's looking really
That's
good.
it.
You're right.
Okay, radiation. Right. So radiation, for that, it's a new addition to this active status system, and we need to look at the bottom.
Yeah,
left here.
yeah, I know.
So in the middle, you got the amount of radiation that being pushed on your body. If you have a directional source, it's based on your body surface and your distance to that source. So by going behind the cover here, I can completely cut off all the radiation. So I can use that. And then on the left, we have an icon that has a shield around it. Now, that shield works in two ways. Right? First of all, it comes from your outfit. So depending on what you're wearing, you're going to have a better or less accurate shield, right? It has a threshold. As long as your radiation doesn't exceed the threshold, the shield will hold true. It'll scrub all the radiation off, and you can stay there as long as you like. But as the shield starts peeling off, when the radiation gets higher, the shield will peel off. And, you know, the radiation sickness kicks in right at the end of the video here. And
It's lovely
my health
seeing
just
status
deteriorates
effects.
super, super quick. So yeah, that's not great. Okay, so we're gonna see some more radiation in the next section. So I would like to welcome Inesh up on the stage. Thank you very much, everyone.
Why are we showing that? Okay. Hello everyone, my name is Ines and I'm a gameplay programmer here at CIG. And I'm here today to tell you all about, thank you. And I'm here today to tell you all about the features we've been working on to improve the player interaction experience with the physical objects in the world. So let me start by telling you what we've made to make it easy for you to identify and interact with these objects in the world. We have introduced in the new interaction prompts, which are AR cards that appear over the objects as the player gets near them. These, combining with scanning, will help the player to easily identify the interactable objects in the scene. So we have improved the algorithm that our interaction system uses to determine the current item in focus. So you'll have a smarter detection and selection as you move around and look around the scene. So the prompts will show you the active interaction and the key bind that you can use to quickly trigger it, like you see on the pictures. So we are trying to minimize the friction of the player to interacting with these objects. You no longer have to go into interaction mode to bring up the cursor, then drag it over, and to select using the inner thoughts. So we're removing that. So what happens if an object has more than one interaction? Well, for that, you can just simply hold F, and this will bring you the new interaction wheel. So this is our new interaction wheel. It will be focusing on the item. And you can see that up to 2 of the interactions have a star icon. So this is related to another system that you are bringing to you that we call in the default item actions. So this allows us to have a primary interaction, that's the one that shows on the prompt, and a secondary interaction. So these are default actions that you can easily trigger using shortcuts. So these actions.
Okay, so that's easier to navigate than the list, which, I mean, it's not a new thing for games, but it is definitely better.
You are fully able to customize them to fit your preferences and playing style. So let's take a look at this in action. Here you can see the prompts that change depending on your focus. So let's bring up the wheel. And you know, I really like my plushes, so I want to inspect them when I find them around. So I'm changing that to my primary. And you'll see that does not affect only the item they are interacting with, but any item that falls into the same category. Go next. Okay. So I've shown you some features that improve. Thank you. So I've shown you features that improve the readability and easiness of interacting with the objects in the world. But the other part of our focus was to bridge the disconnection between the player and the object you are interacting with. In a fully physicalized world that we want to provide you, a tactile experience is very important to sell the experience. So we've introduced a new system that allows us to play animations on the player of actually reaching out and physically touch the objects in the world.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So
rather
our
than
main
just
goal
clicking
was
things
to give
like
you a better immersion.
point and click
At the
things.
same time, minimizing the friction and the control we take away from you. So this really was an exercise between code, design, and animation to give you the best experience possible. Let's see some of this in action.
She's breathless. She's nervous but excited.
Pressing buttons has never been so satisfying and fun.
Yay! Actually hitting. That's a sketchy ass elevator.
I I just kind of like go.
Super sketch. Yep. Okay. It's the little things. It's always been the little things. Boop. Nice.
Okay, so let's continue with this theme of tactile experiences. The next thing I want to talk to you about are usable interactables. So usables are objects that have existed in our game for a very long time. And designers have had a variety of tools to build these really interesting and complex sequences for the AI. But up until now, what we could do for the player was very limited. So this past year, we've been building up our tools that provided for designers, that designers could build these really interactive experiences but for the player. And the advantage of using the usable system is that anything that the player will be able to do, the AI will also be able to do. So let's have a look of a simple demo that one of our designers put together to see what we can now achieve. So in this scenario, the player has to go forward but can't go forward because of the toxic water. So he has to go over to the valve to turn off the water. So before we could maybe play a simple animation when you interacted, but now designers can give full manual control to you. So you, by pressing specific inputs, you will be driving the system. But this is not enough. We needed to be able to give designers a way to translate what the player is currently doing and affect other objects in the world in specific ways. So this is what is happening here. As the player is turning the valve, is controlling the flow of the water that's coming from the pipes. And what should happen when the player is no longer in control? Do we want to keep the state, revert back to the initial one, or maybe trigger something else altogether? Well, it's up to designers to define the type of experience they want to bring to you.
100%.
So let's finally turn off that valve. Rush over before that broken valve starts turning off, and then see another small example. So you'll see another small example where you won't be able to open the door by a press of a button, but you have to manually interact with that pump and manually open it. So you'll have to time your inputs to slowly open the door. So this is just a small taste of the level of interactivity that we can now have with these objects. We had really nice results for Squadron, for the mess hall line, and I can't wait to see what the PU designers will create and bring up to your hands.
It'll make the like bunker explorations and things, make them much more interactable and interesting. Not just waves of enemies, but having things you might have to do or need to do.
Kiosks and terminals. And let's be honest, it's
or
really
want
hard
to
interact and get a good view of this one. So we made a small little changes to make it easier for you. We've created a new focus mode that will walk the player to perfectly align with the kiosks. So we can better perfectly frame the screen on the viewport.
Oh,
At this
thank God.
point, the interactive screen will steal the input focus.
I mean, it's not hard to
but you
line it
can
up, but
actively
it's
choose
easier
which
if you don't have to do
so
it yourself.
let's take a look at this in action.
Also, what is that armor?
And look at that.
Oh,
And we trigger
okay.
it and like,
Also, a ton of options for scripting things. Yes, exactly.
yeah, so this is a very small quality of life improvement, but it will make it much easier for you to interact with this kiosk.
And this weapon store, I'm assuming it's in Pyro.
And you know,
Looks
so
interesting
finally,
too.
Let's talk about looting. This is our new looting screen. It's not replacing the inventory, but it will be used when you're looting a body or any other lootable that you find in the world. It was specifically designed to improve this experience. So since looting is a common action during FPS combat, especially if you haven't fully prepared ahead, we wanted to make it as easier and quick as possible, so you could spend the minimum amount of time to grab any items you need from your target. So it displays the current loadout and a simplified version of the inventory. Looting space favors speediness, while the inventory is there, so you can fully manage.
Might speed
your
up
loadout.
development while decreasing the number of
We're
bugs.
still
Yes.
actively working on it, and this is especially on the UI and art, but I want to give you a little sneak peek how this all works.
So that maybe the game will fully release in our lifetime. Well.
Okay, let's go over to so you see the player loader is on items are on the bottom, the target is on the top. You can
and your
if you
available
hover over the
slots.
Widgets, you'll see a tooltip that with the different quick actions you can do. You can just simple press.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it'll be so much easier. So yeah, you can quickly press to just equip or swap. You can even use your mouse wheel if you want to change the target. You can, drop anything, store anything, just really quick actions.
You can equip it or store it in your pack.
Oh,
that's fantastic.
So this will grab all available ammo, either from your target or from your inventory, and will fill up the magazines in your loadout and get rid of any empty magazines.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
So yeah, looking really good. Yeah, so it's looking really good.
It's
and I can't wait
the
to see
simple
the final
things
art.
that make
So that's all
up
from
so
me.
much.
So thank you so much for listening. And I hope you have a great time.
It was a quick and dirty demonstration.
Right, hello everyone. For those who cannot remember, my name is Jens, and I'm now going to talk to you about some changes we made to our stealth gameplay, and I'm going to give you an update on weaponware. Right, so takedowns is an important part of our stealth encounters. So this is where we're going to add some player skill progression. So it's going to move you through different action sets. You're going to start out by struggling.
Okay.
You might fail. Of course, this sort of added time and the extra noise you're making is really going to increase the risk of detection. You're going to get faster the more you do it. And then you're going to reach maximum efficiency. Check this one out. So he's so fast, you can barely see him do it. And then he guides the body to the floor, so he makes almost no noise, right? We're going to explore some more variation beyond our unarmed and our knife takedown.
I like how it has a skill progression too. That way we're not all master assassins right out of the gate. It's going to take time and practice and work to get good.
So by using the environment, we can do a more efficient takedown than maybe our skill level would have allowed.
Oh.
And it certainly looks a lot cooler. And we're going to be able to use this to get to enemies that might be otherwise difficult to get to with our normal takedowns, like a pilot strapped into his pilot seat, sneak up on him and take him out.
Bash his head into the console and just do the things.
So in that last video, we incapacitated that enemy.
Restraints! Restraints!
I'm
Go
going
to the bounty hunter, kids!
A new item, and that's the restraints. So with the restraints,
That'll make Daigoji
let's
happy.
take him down first. One more. Oh. Okay, so with the restraints, we're going to turn him over. We're going to cuff his hands. We're going to cuff his legs.
Nice.
Now, if he wakes up, he can't chase us down, right? But he could call out for help. So what we're going to do as well is we're going to add places in the environment where you can stash a body. You can hide them.
Of course we
either
are.
Unconscious or dead. And that way you should be easier to remain undetected and keep you in that stealth bubble.
And it's non-lethal.
Now, this is another thing we
interesting
talked about
choice.
in the UI demo, which is the ping. And we saw it in Inesh's presentation, how she did a short ping.
Yes, I missed the UI demo. I was unfortunately asleep.
Now, of course, we
I had a
allow
headache.
you now to
Needed
charge
a
up
nap.
that ping. And by doing so,
But
we can
everything
see
I'm seeing just looks
further,
fantastic.
and we can see through obstacles, and we can populate more information into our data
Yes.
bank. So that then
Absolutely
shows
better
up
for getting
in
certain
our,
bounties.
Box outs here. So you
And
get the
probably
name,
closing out
maybe the
bounties when
race, or
you're,
maybe the
you know,
faction.
with your
And you can
subject
use this
alive is
information
probably
to
going to be
figure
more
out
valuable.
Where's the weak
More
link?
risky, but more
enemies
valuable.
Can I take down without being discovered?
There's nothing more fortunate than
there's a
sleep.
risk here, okay? So
True.
there's a charge up time. Means you can't do it all the time. It's going to recharge slowly. You see the bar at the top.
I had to
slowly
make the
going
choice.
down.
I chose
Until that goes all the way down, I
chose
can't
resting
ping.
my
I can't
poor
do anything.
addled brain.
And it's going to spike my emissions or my signature. And so an enemy with the right equipment or tech level might discover me. Okay, so
Nice. Having countermeasures against scanning is
let's
actually
move
pretty
on
interesting.
to some talk about weaponware. So here we're going to see a simulation of a weapon getting
Law
more and
enforcement,
more
more
worn
you,
over
yeah,
time.
exactly.
We're gonna
Rather
expand
than
this
them just
beyond
blowing you up,
weapons
maybe
with,
they'll capture you
other
and then
items
cart you
like
off
your
to
armor,
prison
your clothing,
for
your
the time you
helmet.
spend in prison in game.
In
Or
actual
you end
game,
up,
this would be
you
two
land in
different
prison
weapons,
and you're
right?
cuffed
So
and you have to
the more
find a
you
way
fire your gun, the
to
more worn
get
it's
out of your
gonna
cuffs so that you
And
can
this is gonna
effect an
affect its
escape.
efficiency,
As
it's
part
gonna
of the
affect its
added
reliability, and
new
it's gonna
escape
reduce
adventure
its
thing that they put in.
resale
For all them
value.
pirate kids.
Each item is gonna wear at its own rate and persist at its own rate. So you could have a worn rifle with a pristine scope or a pristine rifle with a worn scope.
So is that going to include weapon maintenance as part of the
Yeah.
engineering field?
So the geometry isn't the only thing that's going to change as your weapon wears. So here we're going to see a pristine Gemini pistol in the little window and a worn one in the big window. And you can see the visual effects. It's belching out smoke here because it's very worn, right?
Or if you kill
It's
a
telling
person,
you
that's
know,
saying,
it's time to get this one
make the
changed.
police, you're helping mad.
And you
Yes.
should be able to hear the audio as well. It's get growlier.
No, it does too.
Okay, on to some consequences. So it's not all
Jams and
visual, so we're
misfires,
gonna
I would
start with
assume.
Misfire. So the first thing that's going to happen is
Yep.
you press the trigger, your gun doesn't fire. The second thing that happens in this video,
Nice.
I hope you guys know what's happening. So he goes and then it goes click. That's the bullet getting lodged in the chamber, right? So we got to fix it. So it's telling us to fix it. We're hitting the button. Our enemy's firing on us. So you got some options. You don't have to fix it. You could holster your gun. You could pull out a new gun. You could use that new looting interface that Ines showed to grab a better gun. Okay.
So what about maintenance? Or is it just going to
Okay, I'm gonna finish this
wear
section
out until
with
it
the
breaks down?
features that's tangentially related to wear.
Dirt
and that's the
accumulation.
dirt
Clean your
accumulation.
rifles. Clean rifle is
So
a
here
happy
again, we're
rifle.
gonna see a simulation of dirt accumulating over time on the same rifles we saw before. But in the actual game, this would be based on your activities and the environment you're in. So if you're running around in a sandstorm, you're rolling in mud, you leave your gun outside proper storage, it's going to accumulate dirt. And that's going to increase the rate at which it wears. So the dirtier your gun is, the faster it will wear out. And this is true for other biome
weapon hygiene.
accumulations, like
Shower your
frost.
guns, baby. Shower your
Let's
guns.
take a look at this one as well. Oh, or not. Okay, so in the future it's going to be really important that you keep your guns clean and repaired. I'm now going to welcome Zach on stage, and he's going to talk to you more about the FPS weapons. Thank you very much.
Fantastic.
Hello, I'm Zach Priest. I'm a senior FPS games designer. I'm here to share some of the new, interesting FPS things we have to bring you. So, if you play modern shooters, you'll have noticed the quality bar has gone through the roof in recent years. Things from visual recoil to VFX, just overall general weapon feel. As you know, we recently did a pass on our weapons to get them a bit more up to speed, but we
And small ships have human showers, but gun showers.
Because guns are violent in nature.
Those are only in the $200,000 ships. Yeah,
so,
exactly.
We made a new tool, and it allows us to show the violent nature of weapons while, creating greater weapon-to-weapon variety, So, and this new tool also integrates better with other systems. For example, you just saw like wear and dirt and things like that. And I'm extremely proud to show you the new weapon recoil. So this is the old P4. It kind of falls a bit flat. You're not really getting that like oomph that you want, but you've probably shot this a million times.
Mm-hmm.
Now the new P4, it has these nice little bop downs, and you feel it getting close to the camera, and the overall aggression of the weapon is a lot more there. It feels a lot more visceral when you fire it. This new tool gives us granular control over the movements of the weapon. So essentially what we have in one of our tools now is almost an animation tool where we can control the rotation and the location of things. So this is the old PA SMG. This is a new one. And in general, it's bringing the house down now. So recoils are just, in general, easier to tweak now. And they're a lot more impactful, and we can create weapon variety in just far new, more and interesting ways. Cool. Okay. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Okay.
We also have new procedural animation over our ADS. So previously, if you play right now, you basically have a linear pose-to-pose transition. And sure, it's there, but now we layered some of this procedural stuff on top. So for example, if you have an SMG, it can come up a lot quicker, it can flick up, you feel really cool. LMGs can be a lot more heavy. So before it basically just do, move from pose to pose, but now we can keep it longer down here, bring it up slowly, and overall it just feels like you've got an LMG, or it feels like you've got an SMG. We're just using things like, ease in and ease outs, and just give more life to the overall weapon. Oh, there we go. And we also have new iron sights. So sci-fi weapons are chonky. They're full of detail. They look really cool, but a lot of that detail can potentially get in the way sometimes. So you've seen, this is a change to the Kana, where we have raised the weapon sight and given what we call the target acquisition window more room to breathe. So if you're aiming at somebody, you can just generally see a lot more, so optics aren't a crutch anymore. So you can see this on the Ravager, and you can see this on the Custodian.
Interesting.
Now, weapon functionality changes. So as you imagine with the new recoil tool, we're going to do a pass on all the existing weapons. They're going to look and feel great. But while we were looking at our weapons, we also realized that some things don't necessarily, align with their manufacturer, right? You look at something like a Gemini pistol. Now, Gemini overall, it's rule of cool. That's what Gemini is supposed to be. So the LH86 pistol should be fully automatic, realistically. So we have a video to show you of the pistol.
Okay.
And as you can see, it goes ballistic when you fire it. The magazine count has also increased to allow for that just crazy feeling that the pistol gets.
Yeah, but what about control?
Cool. Cool. Thank you very much. Right, and moving on to our new Vault weapons. So, it's the other video. That's the optic one. There you go. Thanks. These are the Vault weapons. So Vault is primarily based around controlling a heat of a weapon. These weapons have the potential to overheat.
Interesting.
And if they overheat, you'll be unable to fire. And they will enact differently. So some weapons will just basically be beams from the get-go. Some will go into beams. Like you see, this one goes into a beam once it reaches a certain level of heat. And it's really fun because, these are quite powerful weapons, and you basically want to manage the heat and, keep it in that, ideal
Fascinating.
spot. Okay, cool.
That's going to be fun, but also terrifying. If they overheat, your gloves will melt into your hands. That would be interesting. If it actually did damage if you consistently overheated it.
Cool. So, if anyone plays a modern FPS, they know that optics are just gorgeous now. In all modern shooters, they look Fantastic.
They are getting there, yes.
And as you can see, we have zoomed in optics in the center. So and then we have other things like parallax, like you see in real life. And they look gorgeous. And so in general, all our sights and scopes have been overhauled to be more realistic with things like parallax, pincushion distortion, and things you'd expect from having a scope in general.
Okay.
And it differs manufacturer to manufacturer, right? So some things are purely digital, some things are purely physical. So if you get hit by an EMP grenade, for example, we're using something like a television sight, like something like Cluey might have, then your optic would turn off. Right. Thank you.
Okay.
Cool. And weapons are ultimately as only good as they sound. I'll be quiet for this next bit.
That's true.
But as you know, we've done a lot of work on our audio propagation systems and just in general how guns sound. We've also switched out some noises and made them feel a lot more beefy.
You need them beefy gun noises. Okay. Oh, that does sound cleaner. Okay. Okay. Okay, that does sound better.
Fantastic.
But what about the
All of
laser
California
weapons?
heard us there. So, backpack reloading. In real-life combat scenarios, you often grab magazines from other surplus areas. I want to simulate that in our game. So, to show you this, we have something called backpack reloading. If you run out of ammo in Star Citizen, you have to open a menu, put things on. It's a little bit clunky, it's a little bit awkward. So, if you have magazines in your backpack, you will now be able to grab
Why would
them
lasers
at
make
the price
noise?
of a longer reload
I know!
animation.
But I like the cue.
You will also be able to tell
I
when
like
you have
laser
a backpack reload
noises.
coming up because it will be displayed on the
Hey.
inventory with the backpack symbol.
I grew up a
there's
G.I. Joe
surprises,
kid,
no
remember?
catching up, you have all the information you need.
I need the pew pew.
And this has been shown.
'Cause it makes
it's
me
been teased a little
happy.
bit, the dynamic crosshair.
I know it doesn't work that
Now,
way.
no
It just
more
makes me
third-party,
happy, okay?
Dynamic crosshair. Well,
Don't
crosshairs
judge me.
now. So, if you have a look at this, this is our new crosshair. It's a crosshair that fits the aesthetic of Star Citizen. It's a crosshair that follows the barrel of the weapon, so you'll see exactly where a bullet is going to
Exactly.
land. And it's projected
Even
from the visor
phasers had
using AR.
noises.
Some visors won't have access to this crosshair, but some will use modified combat lenses. So if you don't want to use the crosshair, you can just use a different visor. As you can see, it works with recoil, and overall it just looks gorgeous. Cool. Cheers. And on to more data things.
The hiss
We're
and
gonna
pop
provide
of
an
supercharged
improved
air
PvE
particles.
experience. The accuracy calculator for NPCs is coming over from Squadron 42. Some people have been playing it in the
I
venue
know.
here, and I've been harassing them, whoever's doing the hangar mission, to get their feedback, and it has been overwhelmingly positive.
For better
We
and
also have
fair
new NPC
PvE
archetypes,
experience.
what we're temporarily calling the Juggernaut, which is
Exactly.
basically a very high damage resistant enemy that has an LMG or a shotgun. As soon as they see you, they fire, they walk up to you. And overall, it's been playing amazingly, and I'm really happy for you guys. Well, I'm really excited for you guys to get your hands on it at one point.
Well, who's going to use a phaser when
PvP.
disruptors are
We
superior
want to
weapons?
increase
Facts.
the time to kill. This allows for more varied weapon balancing. You know, we can lay into like sort of different aspects of the element more. It leads to higher skill ceiling and less unfair deaths. It will no longer be a game of whoever shoots whoever first. Speaking of which, force reactions. We're reworking them. We're aware it's frustrating, and we are going to rework the system to work beautifully.
Okay.
And we're also working on some other highly requested PvP changes.
Interesting.
I'm
I've
very
not really
happy to
engaged
say
in
a lot of this
PvP,
work has
not
been dialed
planned
in.
anyway.
Squadron 42 is in a
I've
very
been
good
attacked a
state.
couple
I'm
of
bringing
times
this to
and
you.
fought to defend myself, but that was about it.
Now,
That'll be
over
interesting.
to the AI
Security,
director,
because they
Fran,
lose their
to share
jobs
some
if they use
exciting
disruptors.
updates on
I mean,
combat
that's
AI.
true. But it doesn't hurt to have
Hi,
a
everybody.
disruptor backup weapon in your
So,
ankle holster.
I'm Francesco Roccucci, as you said, and I'm the AI director in CIG. It's a great pleasure to be here with all of you guys. It's fantastic. So what we're gonna do today is to explore
Phaser
how
has
all
two
the
settings.
work we've
Stun and
done
kill.
for
Disruptor 2
Squadron 42
settings.
is
Kill
going to
and
flow
remove from
into the Star
existence.
Citizen
Objectively
experience.
superior.
So we wanted to make the AI presentation about how you guys are gonna experience the tech and the features we have been working on. So from the player perspective, you've seen how many new opportunities you have. And now it's interesting to see how the NPC are gonna react to that.
Oh, NPC
So the goal of
reactions.
Star Citizen
Yes.
is to build a breathing and living environment where your actions matters and the NPC you will find in the universe needs to have the same opportunities and same limitations that you have. So when we play a game, we want you to spend the time that feels memorable, that feels special, right? Something you can remember and talk about. So we want you to give you a challenge to overcome, but also a challenge that is fun and doesn't feel repetitive and boring.
Yes.
So
Or
when we look
as soon
at
as you
FPS
land, you get
encounter, We
nuked.
want to build variety. We want to give the designers, like Zach, the ability to craft combat scenarios, not just to put NPC in the level. And we need to make sure that he can tweak something such that he can experience the unique play style and the play space
put the
that you
desk up.
have. So Star Citizen can benefit from tons of unique environments. So for those environments, we want you to have different type of fun. So what we look at today is some of the tools that they have to achieve this goal and bring the AI to the next level. So the first tool we're going to look at today is the NPC trait system. So we spoke about this in the past, and we have now
Okay.
available for designers the initial set of traits they can use to influence their behaviors. So those are some of the ones that are available to the designers.
Interesting.
Today we're going to focus on the combat traits, because we have traits that also apply to the peaceful situation and the social environment, but those are the ones that influence NPCs during a combat scenario. And traits, you can imagine them as characteristics NPCs have or don't have. So through the usage, we can make sure the combat feels different from one encounter to another. Traits in tech-wise, are just traits and tags that we can apply to character instance, character classes, but code can also apply them automatically based on specific rules. For example, if you see somebody with a rocket launcher, those will apply, an example, the sentry trait automatically, because those weapons are weapons that work well at range, so you want them to not push forwards to you.
Interesting.
So they allow to block, or actually, they allow or they block specific section of the behaviors
So a
to
variety
run,
of different
but they
behaviors to
also
make your
influence the
NPCs
likelihood of
act
some logic
according to
happen,
script,
or
while
they
having
modify the
variety of
outcome
encounters
specific
for players.
actions. So let's imagine we want to model a pirate faction, something that you can actually experience in the Pyro playground. So we want them to feel aggressive, but also
Hi,
not
Haley.
very trained. They are not very military.
How is
So
you?
how do
Happy
we do
Sunday?
it with the traits?
Like the NPCs work alongside the same rules as players. Yes.
We can start adding to this faction
It makes sense.
either the aggressive or reckless
Insofar as
trait.
they can.
Those are traits that increase the risky behaviors. So for example, fighting more in open space or expose themselves longer when they are in cover. We can then assign to some of those pirates the ignore fire obstruction trait. As you've seen, for example, in Chris Rain's presentation
work.
during the
Gonna listen in while you do some
demo,
tours. No worries.
we have now
Appreciate you.
destructible environment.
work treated you
so
gently.
what the NPC will try to do is to keep shooting at the position the enemy has been hiding into. So you will see destroying environment, but you will also see them being less careful and managing their ammos. For others, we could use the undisciplined trigger finger trait. So this trait is, for example, meant to convey the inability to control their weapon when they are emotionally engaged in the fight. And what it will cause is them to trigger the weapon much longer also just a bit longer compared to what the behavior is asking.
So they might run out of ammo
So
faster?
being better preserving their ammo means they will also run out of bullets much quicker. So this offers interesting opportunities for players because they can now shoot at them while they reload or while they scavenge the environment. So traits are building blocks we can use to define how character, faction, or encounter should feel. And designer can now create a wide variety of encounters for you guys to enjoy the game. So I want to paint a picture for you guys. So this is the bunker mission in Pyro, right? And we have a set of enemies that are defending the environment. So this is imagine an infiltrate
And
and
you just
destroy
walk and
mission.
stand there and take
Those
the
guys
bullets?
are there defending the bunker. You need to take it over. You need to basically kill them all. You are
Right.
now fighting against enemies that they defend
We sure are cheating,
the
right?
environment.
God mode engaged.
So before we go to the next slide, imagine the same environment, very similar enemies, but different traits, same behavior. So now
I guess for the purpose
you are
of this
defending the
demonstration, it
environment,
makes
and they
sense.
are aggressive towards the environment. They want to take it. So what you will see here, Zach created a mix of enemies, some equipped with, for example, shotgun and aggressive traits. Now they will push towards you. They will force you to take actions and to react to them. They reload. Some will cover up.
Keeps reloading.
Obviously, this
Keeps
is
pushing
with
forward.
God mode on,
Very
so
reckless.
Zach was not dying. So this is possible to set up with a tick-off box.
Okay, that makes sense.
But this is not just enemies.
And different
Because
NPC
as a citizen,
behaviors
we
make
want
sense.
you to are your own crew members. And those crew members, those
Right.
characters will have different personalities, different traits, different training level
Yeah.
that they can build up.
That was a nice touch.
But when you look at their traits, we want you to see their
Those who are dumb,
strengths and their
who
weaknesses,
do dumb,
so that you can
will
pick
complain
the
about
one
game
that either
difficulty
match
always
your
annoys me. I
playstyle
think the variety
or
might inspire better
compensate
player
your
behavior.
playstyle.
I can hope so, because it makes you reactive to the situation. It's not going to be the same thing. You can't just have your run and gun scripted thing.
So one good thing that we want to show you today is the medic. So
But
there are some
the NPCs did need
that
some
can
balancing,
carry,
because
obviously,
there were a
med
few
pens,
encounters where
but
I
not
just got
everybody is able
nuked
to use
the
it
moment I
well
hit the
or
ground,
wants to use it in
and
specific
they were
encounters.
like
So we wanna
concealed
tweak this,
10 miles
so we
away.
have the medic trait.
But that was
Here we
going as,
combine
I think,
lot
a
of the
glitch or
tech
something
we've
that was
spoken in
happening
the
with
past,
NPC
usable
behaviors at that
tech,
time.
You know, behavior tech.
Which is a bug that got
And as
worked on, I
Jens
believe.
showed you,
I need to retest
players
that.
now can just not only kill enemies, because before our NPCs would just die, but now you can take them down, you can restrain them. So the hyperception is to carry all this information about the different actor states. So it needs to know if he's down, but if he's still alive, or if it's just, you know, somebody that you need to wake up. So a medic in the regular combat flow can, when it's safe to do so, and at the right time, attempt to heal his mate that can be helped. So now you can imagine guard patrolling the environment, you take down a character, the guard finds this body on the ground. He doesn't know if he's alive or not. So he can go there, he can check it, check the pulse, see the state, and if he can be helped, he can basically execute the right healing process. If he needs a med pen, he will use the med pen. If he needs
So
to
then your
shake him to
medic,
wake
so
him up,
then
he will shake
NPC
him up.
medics
And
could
if he needs
revive
to
people
unrestrain,
behind you
he
that you
will
leave behind
unrestrain.
if you don't put them
Your
down,
crew members
and they can come up behind
can
you
also
and
do
murk
the
you.
same with you. So if you are down in critical condition, they can come and help you out. We'll see now an example of this where two factions are fighting, and you will see that at the right time when the guy retreats, this guy can go there and heal his mate.
Nice.
And
Well-
obviously, he needs to pick up a new weapon because he just dropped it. So as we mentioned before, and as you've seen here, NPC can run out of bullets, but can also lose their weapons. So what we have to do right now is that, first of all, we want NPCs to have a concrete ammo pool to use. We don't want
These
infinite
support
ammo
units would be
anymore.
cool, but the odds of losing them becomes
So-
uncomfortably high. Yes.
The ammo pool is actually constructed by the ammos NPC carrying their weapons.
I mean, the
one
moment
that
you
they
see
carry,
an
the one that
NPC
might
medic
have,
trying to
and all
revive
magazines
the
they
other
carry.
group
They don't have
is
any more
when you
bullets out
take
of
that
them.
guy out. He no
So
longer
NPC
has that
must
problem.
properly use those items to fight, and the longer the engagement, the more likely it is they will run out of bullets and they will have to scavenge the environment. How do they do that? It's through the NPC, the usable system, as you've seen with Ines as well.
So
in the
basically, you
presentation.
injure one
You
enemy,
see that anything the
you wait
player
for the
can
medic to
interact
creep
with,
out
the
and
NPCs
fix him,
actually
and then
can,
dispose
the
of the
same
medic
exact
so you can
way.
carry on with the
So
mission.
dead bodies can
When
be
it comes down to
looted,
strategy and tactics.
same as dropped weapons. Ammo crates will have physically inside some weapons, magazines. They can provide you with items. An NPC can understand where you can find ammos that are actually functioning with their own weapons. And they actually
So
can decide.
NPCs will be able
For
to
example,
re-ammo?
if it's
Sounds like
better
a
to
war
reach an
crime.
ammo crate
It probably
and gather
is, but
some
you gotta remember,
ammos,
I'm
or
Canadian.
if that is too far,
The
or
Geneva
towards the
Convention
enemy,
was
they can
just
decide
some
to pick up
you know,
another weapon.
guidelines.
So you will see that also
You know.
already in Pyro, you might see it.
Suggestions.
And once they decide to do so, obviously
Not
they don't have bullets, so they cannot fight you. What they can do, they can
Well,
also
yeah,
switch
player
to their
companion
sidearms.
NPCs as well,
The
too,
sidearms
yes.
is less effective.
Well, I mean,
obviously,
it
from
depends
the
on what their
primary compared to the
notion of
primary
when
weapon,
it's safe
but it is still better
how that's programmed.
than nothing for them to protect themselves while they go around and they loot the environment. So we'll see here an example where some NPC ran out of bullets. Obviously, in this
I'm
video,
hoping
we
it's
give
not
them
just a
chance
you call
to
for help and
go
they
and loot
immediately
as
come
well.
out.
And
I
this
hope
is a
there's
proper ammo
some
crate that allows them
some
to get back
caution embedded
magazines.
in player assisting
And another
NPCs.
NPC arrives, and he will loot the dead body. This is the same dead body you might be able to loot, and you will not find ammos after that. But you will probably find it in the
Yes.
other one once you kill it. So, last but not least, another tool in the FPS arsenal is grenades.
Yeah, you could have
Grenades are a great
aggressive
tool.
companions
NPC can now fully
get you
react
into
and
trouble
use
when you're trying to be
grenades in
stealthy.
the environment. So grenades are a great tool, especially when an NPC needs to counter a player that is camping or a player that is hiding or saying a location that the NPC cannot reach. So grenades force the movement and keep the action going, but they're also very dangerous. You've seen in Ali's presentation and my presentation that a grenade can make electronics explode, ignite a fire, and then the fire can propagate in the environment. So NPCs needs to properly understand the environment and not jump into the fire and get damaged. So how do we do that? Is we have a new full system to handle hazards. Basically, hazard on the technical side can create a navigation volume modifier, and the navigation volume modifier gets registered in navigation system, and our basically mesh can be modified, and it will carry semantic about if that is a danger, something better, and how much costly it is to go through.
Takes a fair
Because
bit
maybe
to
you
recruit
have
your companions
a
to lose
suit
them will
that
hurt more.
allows you
Yes,
to go
most
through the
likely.
fire, so that is fine. You will not, the NPC can understand that. But if they can't,
I don't.
they would try
I
to
think
find
you're going to be able to
positions
hire
that are safe
NPC
for them
crew
to
in
position
the persistent
themselves,
universe
but
as well
also
for your
paths
multi-crew
that
ships
will
if you don't
avoid
have friends,
those
but I
dangerous
can't
areas.
remember that for certain.
Now we'll see an example of that. This is a safe environment, still fighting, but safe, safer. And what will happen now? Fire ignites and propagates. This is fully dynamic, so it's fully controlled by the fire system. The fire system modifies volumes in the navigation system, and we really know where we can and not pass at any given moment.
Interesting.
So this is a subset of the things that we worked on and we wanted to show you today. Thanks very much for listening, and now back to Jens.
All quality of life stuff that's just going to make the game more and more interesting as it goes along.
Right, I want to thank Ines, I want to thank Zach, and I want to thank Francesco for joining me on stage today. We want to extend a massive thank you to everyone who contributed to, supported us, and made it possible to show what we showed today. Now, with relentless optimism, we're looking forward to bringing you this all to the Star Citizen and more. Okay, we're going to leave you with a quick peek of a demo in Hangar 14 of Checkmate with some of these new features.
Okay,
Enjoy.
let's see it. It's a fantastic looking environment. I think Pyro is going to be a lot of fun. Dangerous as hell, but a lot of fun. I was going to say, you sure you dropped that guy? I want his sunglasses. The thing with the looting system is, what about their armor and stuff? How are they gonna, is that gonna have a separate menu, or you have to like go further into the looting, or you're gonna have to take it off them piece by piece? I'm curious about that. Grenade! Kaboom! That was a very muted kaboom. Combat slide, yeah. Oh, you're getting pinned down, homie. NPCs just aggressively moving in on you. The challenge level is going to go up, which I expect in Pyro anyway. I'm expecting that it's going to be different. Like Stanton might be the starter system, and then each progressive system that they unlock from Pyro and Terra and so on are, you know, going to have graduated levels of difficulty for encounters and stuff. Which only makes sense. Which is going to make like doing cargo runs between systems much more interesting, because you might encounter, you know, base pirates that are significantly stronger in a successive system than you will in your in whatever port you originate out of. Remember to reload your gun before you switch weapons. Wiping the visor. Lol. That was fantastic.
Right. Thank you very much. I urge you all to come and join us in the Pyro Playground pit and have a go at Hangar 13 in Checkmate. It's a really great encounter. Thank you.
All right, we're going to stop here. I'm going to restart stream in a minute for the next segment.